Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And now we see them today. We got an excellent show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as I said, everyone is kind of weighed in on this whole LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith feud. Just today, we covered some comments from Charles Barkley that he made on the Dan Patrick show just yesterday. And this morning I woke up, just kind of combing through the internet here to see what to discuss today. And I came across a pretty interesting article that was referenced to me, or referred to me rather, from Awful Announcing. But ultimately it was the source material came from Outkick.com. And apparently ESPN veteran and godfather of sports media, Michael Wilbon, apparently did a sit down on Outkick. And he was interviewed, and this article was published just yesterday. And it has the following headline saying, Michael Wilbon opens up to Outkick about LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith, Windhorst, and more. Now, originally, when I went to the Awful Announcing article, it was quite short. It was truncated. And I'm like, no, this is not. First, I was actually looking for the sound, but I couldn't find the sound. Then I was ultimately able to glean that, oh, look, this isn't actually an interview, like an old-fashioned interview that you got to go read in the newspaper. There's no video footage of it. So I then bounced over to the Outkick article and I read through it. And let me tell you guys something. Michael Wilbon did not hold back. It was an explosive interview, and he was letting it rip. And this is the article that we want to really focus in on today. But before we even get into what Wilbon had to say during the sit down with Outkick, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. One of the things I love the most is making unforgettable memories with family and friends. And one of the things I hate the most is overpaying for tickets only to find out that there was a better deal out there. That's one of the reasons I started using Game Time. Game Time is the easy go-to app for last-minute tickets to sports, concert, and theater events across 60+ states in the US and Canada. Game Time saves me time, money, and stress by curating only the best deals, so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time scrolling through overpriced tickets. Game Time Picks is my favorite tool. It highlights the best value seats instantly. No more guesswork, no more wasting time. For example, I'm very interested in the game between the Wizards and the New York Knicks. Here's what I like to do. I turn on all-in pricing so I know exactly what I'm paying for up front. I check Game Time Picks to find out the most valuable deals. And finally, I pick the ticket I want. I choose between the cheapest deal, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into what the article had to say here. It says, Michael Wilbon is arguably the most revered sports writer and commentator of this generation. He is one of the few people in the world of sports who both LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith have admitted they admire. So instead of sharing my thoughts about the ongoing viral feud between James and Smith, we thought it'd be more impactful to share the perspective of someone who knows both men well. On Thursday night, Wilbon spoke to Outkick exclusively for the first time about James's recent criticisms of the media, ESPN, Wilbon's colleague Stephen A. Smith, and Brian Windhorst. Bobby Borak. Michael, why now? Why is LeBron James, for the first time in his 22-year career, choosing to fight with the media? Here's what Wilbon said. First, I appreciate you reaching out to me, Bobby, and tackling this story responsibly. I don't know. I haven't talked to LeBron about it. I haven't been around him this year, not yet. But I'd love to talk to him about it, and I will next time I see him. I have been doing this for 45 years, talking to athletes in every sport. I don't come from the ESPN generation of covering only one sport. I've covered everyone from Mike Tyson to Carl Lewis to Chris Evert to Michael Jordan to LeBron James, from Kobe Bryant to Carl Ripken. And LeBron is as good as anyone ever. I've covered them all. Magic, Bird, and no one is better than LeBron when it comes to being engaging and patient with the media. Nobody. So I don't know where all of this is coming from. I'm telling you, Bobby, no one has been better with the media than LeBron. He actually answers your questions. He listens. He's thoroughly engaged when he talks or gives you time. I almost want to give him a pass because it's just a week in his 20-year career. He's earned it. at least to me. Some athletes are and haven't earned the right to be but I still don't understand this recent approach by LeBron. I don't get it. It annoys me because some of these things are beneath him. Barack, which parts? Here's what Wilbon said. The Windhorst comments. I've been around LeBron when people have asked him about something that happened 2 decades ago in Ohio, and he would respond by saying, I don't even remember that. Ask Wendy. Wendy will know. That tells me he has respect for Windhorst that is undeniable. I know he respects Windhorst, so why? Why say this now? As for the issues with Stephen A. Smith, he and Smith are both big boys. They can go at it. I refuse to even consume their beef. People are calling me, asking me about it. My son asked me about it, and I told him, I don't care. There is too much ego involved on both sides of it. I don't give a damn about that BS. But the Windhorst comments bother me. Brian is in a tough spot. He takes his job seriously. Brian is accountable, which a lot of people in the business today are not, and that pisses me off. Look, Brian is not a show monkey. He's not out here drawing attention to himself with some ego or agenda. Brian Windhorst is great at what he does. Great, Bobby. And I will vouch for him for anything against anyone. And if we're talking to LeBron right now, I'd say it to his face. Then continues on. He said, LeBron thinks the media has covered him unfairly compared to athletes of his status. Is this true? Wilbon said, no. LeBron is praised, and I am one of the people covering him. I have covered him for 20 years, and he deserves praise because he is great. He has been great from day one. But here's what annoys me. And I've heard this from many players like Kevin Durant lately. They say the previous generation of players were not criticized like they are. F that. They better wake the F up. They don't think Michael Jordan was criticized for going to Atlantic City during the Knicks series? Really? They don't think Jordan was criticized for playing golf during the playoffs? Really? They don't think Wilt was criticized? I have said this to these players privately, and I'll say it publicly. Everyone gets criticized. They are just too young to know what the hell they're talking about. But maybe I'm just old. Now, Burak said, how much of the role has media played in athletes today worrying too much about criticism? Wilbon said, too much. Too damn much. They pay too much attention to it. They are into it too much. If you can't handle it, get off it. I'm off it. I still have 4.5 million followers on Twitter, but I don't use it. It wasn't for me anyway. I realized I didn't want to consume the BS. I'm too old for that. Everything is distorted. There's too much glorification. There's too much criticism. There's too much everything. It's an exercise in excess. If I'm not a child of this era, I am a child of the mainstream media. There is no accountability in this world. I had to be accountable to bosses and editors. These people on the internet don't. I have to be accountable to the athletes I cover today. And if I say something cockeyed about LeBron or KD, or go back to John Elway or Emmitt Smith, they would have the right to come to me and say, "What the hell did you say about me?" And then we would have a sit down and talk about it. That's how it should be. People on social media just talk. That's it. They talk and face no accountability, and I hate it. Burak said, there's no question. And people are worried too much about fitting in with what's trendy on social media. Maybe that's why the business, the people in the business don't like him. Wilbon said, I hate all of this. It's too much. I want to sit down with all of these athletes and discuss all of this. LeBron is too important. He has too much credibility, which he's earned, and stature, which he's earned, to worry about what is said about him. Same with Stephen Curry. Their voices matter. They matter to me. They matter to young kids. The whole LeBron and Stephen A. Smith stuff, I can't. Enough. Stop it. I'm too old for it. I'm too old to consume it. But Windhorst didn't deserve it. So you heard what Michael Wilbon had to say there. What are my thoughts on this? First of all, I didn't know Michael Wilbon can talk like this. He was not holding back. And he seems like somebody that he seems like a mature voice in this entire situation here. And to be honest with you, the way he spoke made it look like all of us just out here running around acting like damn fools. Like if I'm being, I'm reading, I'm looking like, well, damn, I must be a part of the circus too. Good Lord. I can only imagine if you ever saw, I came like, man, this dude is a clown. Like probably, I don't know. I'm joking, but I don't know. But look, he brought up some good points. He addressed some key issues in terms of the perspective about the sport, how it's being covered, some of the things that are being said on both sides. I listened to Adam Silver just the other day talking about he's noticed that in other sports, players don't go back and forth with each other like this, except in the NBA. But he also said that, look, the NBA also mightily benefits from it because of the engagement and all of that on social media. So it's a double-edged sword. Look, I don't know where all of this thing is going. He spoke about the sports media landscape. I think it's still evolving. I think it's still a very young space. And I think things are still moving, right? I think there's still going to be a lot of up-and-coming stars that are going to be really, really good. I still think we got a lot of great guys right now. And I think maybe over time, some of the rules will start being put in place because right now it is like the Wild Wild West and there are no real rules anymore. It did seem to bother him about LeBron going at Brian Windhorst. It was something that I think shocked a lot of people. Brian Windhorst handled it, beautifully and diplomatically. But it was something that surprised people. But hey, look, as I said on that day, LeBron was he wasn't taking any prisoners. He absolutely went off. So what I want to know from the audience is simply this. What are your thoughts on what Michael Wilbon had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.